Hello, this is Oklahoma Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell coming to you with another episode of our look at Oklahoma's CareerTech system. As I say all the time, there are multiple paths to a great career, and Oklahoma's CareerTech system may be just for you, may be exactly what you're looking for, whether you're a working adult, whether you're in middle school, high school, and anywhere in between. Oklahoma's CareerTech system may be just for you. And today, I'm really honored to have being joined by Jazlyn Hancock, a graduate of Meridian Tech Center's Culinary Arts program. So Jazlyn, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
Yeah. Well, so first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? And what high school did you go to as well?
So I'm from Guthrie, Oklahoma. I didn't go to Guthrie High. I actually was homeschooled my entire life. Typically, homeschoolers are a little nervous to come to a public school, but Meridian made the transition very smooth. So I was homeschooled in Guthrie, and now I live in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Excellent. Well, yeah, that is unique. Again, we Oklahoma, we have homeschooling in our, support in our state constitution. I know a lot of families that live in Oklahoma because of how much Oklahoma supports homeschool families. So
Mhm.
you were in homeschool, you homeschooled your entire life. You lived in Guthrie, love Guthrie. So how did we hear a lot from kids that were in public schools and, in middle school, they did a field trip to the local Career Tech Center, right? And then in high school, that high school does a really good job of telling kids about the Career Tech Center that's 5 minutes down the street. There's even transportation, that high schools provide for students to go to Career Tech. So someone like you, again, you were homeschooled. How did you hear about Meridian Technology Center?
Um, Over the years, we had gotten lots of brochures and stuff, and my mom actually showed me a brochure, and she was like, "Hey, maybe we could do like a night class here." And we always considered it, but I never really had done it. And then one day, my sister was working at a local coffee shop in Guthrie, and a lady came in, and she was in uniform, and she was from Francis Tuttle, and she was in a chef uniform, and my sister started asking her questions, trying to get to know about the program. And she said, "Well, we're not in your jurisdiction, but Meridian Technology is." And so then me and my mother, when I turned 16, looked up Meridian Technology and looked up their programs and what they offered, and I saw they had a culinary arts program, and so I decided to go from there and apply.
That is a great story. That is a great story. Yeah, I mean, our career tech employees, we hear it all the time, just how engaged, how excited and engaged they are to talk about career tech, because they know that it is life changing for Oklahomans. So I love that story. Thank you for telling that. So what led you in to enroll in the culinary arts program? Obviously, you must have loved cooking and loved being in the kitchen, but what led you to that?
Really, it was my mom and my grandma, like so many chefs before, always say in interviews, my mom and my grandma or whatever. But really, watching them in the kitchen just made me happy, and all the Food Network programs and everything. And my grandma would just always let me, experiment and such. And so from there, I decided about when I was 12, I was like, well, I'm going to be a chef. And I got in contact with a local chef, Ben Coffin, in Guthrie, and I just started talking to him, and he really helped me. And he said, "Well, you're 12 years old, so obviously I can't intern you or anything, but I can give you. I come back when you're like older." So when I was 15, I went back and I asked, "Will you give me like a stage?" And so he just started mentoring me, and from there then on, I was mentored by him, and then uh, I just always loved being in the kitchen and helping him with his catering company. And then Meridian Technology opened up, and I was like, okay, that's the next step to
Wow,
become a pastry chef.
that's great. Yeah, so you were hustling back when you were 12 years old trying to get into the business. I love it. So
Yeah.
tell me about about the classes that you took. Give for those listening or watching this, give a little bit, that may be interested, just like you were. Tell us a little bit about the classes at Meridian Tech in the Culinary Arts program.
Yeah. There's the first year and second year class. And the first year class, the instructor is Dustin Charter, and he's a great chef, very, very professional, has great knowledge to offer the students. And you just come in, and he makes it very at home, very at ease, and you just start learning. You get your textbook, and you learn through your textbook all the safety and sanitation you need to know to be in that field, and then you start learning skills and hands-on learning. I'm a very hands-on learner, so that was always my favorite part, was to get to actually make the food and help with it. And then by the end of your first year, you graduate with a Serve Safe diploma, food handler's diploma. So that is something that will help you get a job in the food industry and really help you be a kind of a leg up on the competition. And then the second year, if you come back to level 2, Travis Williams is your instructor, and he's a phenomenal chef too. And he really, really encouraged me to start doing baking, and he was just putting me in the kitchen all the time, and I was always in the kitchen helping with something, making a cake, making a souffle or something. And just he would just really push you, and he really pushes you. If you want to do it, he encourages you. And so that was amazing, and I was just in the kitchen hands-on learning because he knew that's where I strived.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the second year, you get a food handler's Serve Safe manager certificate, and that helps you even further.
Yeah, I mean, again, you graduate with that. You have to your point, you have a leg up on the competition out there. Obviously, you're trained in a way to where you can do a number of things inside a restaurant, from managing to working in the kitchen. Did you have employers talk to you when you were in the program? I mean, we hear all the time from students that they're always getting courted even when they're in a program at one of our career tech centers.
Yeah, for sure. I had lots of different people talk to me, and I actually got a raise at my job because I was doing this program, and they saw that. They said,
Wow.
well, we see you really trying, and we're going to give you a little bit of a raise. And I got to be like a head baker there. And when I graduated, I got to have this amazing job here. So
Yeah.
lots of opportunities came.
That's awesome. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is your Paris internship. This is so cool. You completed a culinary internship in Paris. Tell me more about the internship, and how did you find that opportunity?
Well, I was actually saw it through social media. I saw an advertisement for it, and then I saw a lady who I had actually done videos about her going there, and I saw their daily life, and I was like, this looks amazing, but I can't do that. And I just thought, I can't do that. And my mom said, well, why couldn't you? And I was like, oh, it's probably way too expensive. And she was like, well, let's look at it. And we looked into it, and it wasn't that expensive for an 8-week program. And so the school is called École Ducasse, so it's Alain Ducasse's school, in Moudon, France, just right outside of Paris. And we looked into it, and I was like, well, I'll apply. I'll just apply. And I applied, and then a few months later they said, oh, you've been accepted. And I was like, oh, okay. And they only accepted 16 students for that 8-week program. And so I got to go, and I got to experience it, and it was definitely worth doing.
Well, I bet having that on your resume is pretty impressive. And kind of the story I heard, because you didn't have a whole lot of debt. You weren't paying student loans at a college or something like that. It gave you the ability to do something like this as well. Is that true?
It is 100% true. I came right out of high school, and I had the Meridian Technology experience, to where I had these 2 diplomas for first and second year. And right out of the bat, no debt. I was ready to go, and I started working at Meridian. I started saving lots, and I didn't know what I was saving for, but I was saving. And this opportunity came along, and I was able to I did some fundraisers, I did some bake sales, and I was able to self fund myself through this with 0 student loans.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so great. So went through Meridian Tech. You did had this amazing life experience in Paris with the internship, and so kind of to your current career, you're on staff now at your alma mater, which is really cool. tell me about your job, and what do you like about it?
Well, my favorite thing about it is definitely working with students. They're just the best thing about the job, in my opinion. I love my coworkers and all of them too, but mainly just every day working with a new student or a different student and getting to teach them and show them from the very basic and then seeing them progress and just having them watch me and do what I'm doing is just watching their passions and them grow is my favorite thing to do. And so every day I get to instruct a new student. I'm a teacher's assistant, and so in the kitchen they come to me with baking questions, and it's just always the best.
How long have you been in that position?
This is my second year, so I just finished my first year before I left for Paris, and I've been back almost a month.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, we always ask as we kind of finish these interviews of those that we talk to, what would you say to someone that is, potentially looking at Oklahoma's career tech system? What would you an encouraging word that you would tell them about why they should certainly give it a serious look?
I would say you can't beat it. It is one of the most amazing things Oklahoma has to offer, in my opinion, being a student here. It's you get to go if you're a high schooler and you get valuable information for nothing, for no cost. And it just really, I don't see how anyone should, if they can, I don't see how they should pass up the opportunity because even if you don't know what you want to be, pick something, go for it. You might love it.
Yeah. Well, Jazlyn, that's wonderful. It's going to be very exciting to watch where you go from here. Certainly, we want to keep you in Oklahoma if we can, but I have no doubt that Meridian Technology Center is very blessed to have you. Jazlyn, thank you so much for joining us again. A great Oklahoma story, great Oklahoma kid. Tell your parents they did a really good job too, by the way.
Thank you.
Because clearly your mom, I love that story. Hey, why not you? Why can't you do this? So I think you know that how lucky you are to have parents like that too. But how lucky we are truly that we have a technology center and a career tech system in the state of Oklahoma. To your point, that is world class and really truly is a no-brainer for kids to go explore what you may want to do. To your point, it may be something completely different than what you thought you wanted to do when you were in high school, or again looking for a new career. So, Jazlyn, thank you for joining us today.